is going to have its utmost effectiveness for a very long time inside of this game. And Alliance also banning out the Shaker, another hero who adds a lot of AoE control. And not only that, but Tide is great for being able to play against a relocate. Like we talk about Gyro, we talk about Queen and Tide. The amount of AoE they have to just drop on a relocate as soon as it comes in is huge. Like that Wisp has the potential to just explode as soon as he comes anywhere.
Yeah. We're going to have to see IO be very, very careful with exactly where he positions himself. But of course, just the fact they have got this tiny IO combo, which, well, we do know from past experience, it's pretty damn terrifying.
It can be extremely potent. There's no doubt about that. I just think that VP already have a lot of methods to deal with it. So in some cases, if you ever try to relocate to go for a backdoor, you can just swap the Wisp out to break tether sometimes, and you can just stun him and kill him. You can drop cooldown, you can drop Queen ulti, you can drop Ravage. There's a lot of things that you're going to have to worry about potentially teleporting into as the Wisp, and that's a big concern because a lot of teams would deal with it by just picking up something like a Disruptor, so that way you separate the Wisp from the carry every single time they TP in, which is obviously a good way to deal with it. But the way that VP Polar are going to deal with it is we'll just kill you both if you come in.
Oh, final pick now for the side of Alliance. Looking at the heroes they've got so far, obviously there's versatility with both the Beastmaster and the Tiny. And what with Mirana picked up finally?
Pycat Mirana maybe?
Do you think we're going to... Well, I was thinking about maybe some kind of dual lane situation with the Beastmaster mid, Tiny IO safe lane, and Bane Mirana off lane?
I think it will be dual lanes. I think
Bulldog Mirana?
No, I think it'll be Bulldog Beastmaster.
Bulldog Beastmaster?
But they can do both, actually. I think it'll be Bane Mirana for sure, like together, and then Tiny Wisp, and then Beastmaster solo. And if that's the case, I think Bulldog would play Beastmaster, right? And then Pycat plays Mirana. And then like load a Tiny, and then, you know, everything else is pretty standard.
Okay, well, their final pick now for the side of VP Polar. They themselves, they do still need their secondary support here. Is anyone that's kind of been left out you feel they could pick up? Obviously, the Lion is still in the pool. Someone that they might be thinking about here?
I think Lion's great against this team in general. Like, you want more lockdown. You want more methods of being able to stop Fiend's Grip. You want another hero to be able to counter-initiate into the Wisp relocate, and throwing out an Earth Spike can guarantee a double stun just as they come in. And it's not like an ulti either. I talked a lot about the cooldown and the Ravage, but ultimately, the Ravage is a very long cooldown, and so is Queen ulti without Aghanim. So if you're going to be using those spells like on just relocates, the relocate will be up more often than your ultis are off cooldown. So you need another hero who can actually deal with it. And you could just pick Disruptor as well. I mean, I think Lion, Disruptor, both really solid picks here. VP, though, they are taking their time. And
the Disruptor, one of those heroes that we do see picked up a lot of time against the IO kind of combinations. And indeed, they're thinking long and hard about it here. Someone that's going to fit very nicely in. And actually, the more I think about it, I think the Disruptor call would be very nice to add into the team fight potential and also to break up what Alliance might throw at them.
Yeah, Disruptor works really well against their lineup in general. Like, being able to get extra kills. When a team starts retreating, for example, Disruptor is great at being able to just get, like, the bonus kill, which over the course of the game can really help you along, especially with the game being more snowball-based. So if Alliance ever do a bad relocate and you just manage to get, like, an extra kill, because a Disruptor happens, like, 2 or 3 times, can drastically change the complexion of the game. But they are certainly thinking hard about this, because they only got 20 seconds left.
We want to keep us on the edge of our seats, increase the suspense here for the final pick in what is going to be a pretty exciting match. Obviously, in League play so far, we've had some very good games, and I don't see this one being an exception. VP Polar up against Alliance.
Whoa, okay.
Support Gyrocopter.
Yeah, support Gyro.
Support Gyro. Let's do it, boy. Illidan position 1 lifestealer.
Against Master and Bane.
This is a bold pick from VP Polar.
I did not think
they were going to pick that. Off. Wow.
Okay. You know what? I'll trust him. I will trust him. I'll say it's going to work.
It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I guess one of those heroes that arguably, you know, it's a position 1, might be off farming a lot of the time. If Tiny and IO come in with a relocate, the Enrage obviously going to nullify a lot of the damage in the early game coming from the 1-2 combo from Tiny.
Yeah, the biggest concern is having heroes to be able to help the lifestealer stay on target. So he's going to be the target of a lot of roars, or he's going to get gripped. I mean, those are the 2 things that you really want to be careful of. But if you can stop, like you can swap the Bane, or you can swap the lifestealer out of a roar, or maybe you think of it as in, when Doom used to be picked a lot, people would pick multiple cores that you wanted to make it so you would just have a lot of targets that have to deal with and try to decide what's the best for every situation. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. It seems a little bit odd.
It is. It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see how this Lifestealer is exactly going to match up here today in the first game of today here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. Here with myself, Odie Pixel, and of course Draskell. And we are into the first game of the day. Let's have a quick rundown of the teams whilst I just try and sort something out. Here we are. Right.
His preview monitor is on the fritz right now. Yeah,
Draskell, break down the teams.
I'll do VP for you since you're having some issues here. So DK Phobos is going to be playing here on the Tidehunter. Towards the middle lane, we're going to have FNG playing on his Gyro. G is going to be playing on Queen of Pain. Here in the woods, we're going to have Illidan with the surprise Lifestealer pick. And then finally, we're going to have Lil, who's playing Venge. And Owen, as your screen is still not working, I mean, I definitely can go over the other team as well.
You go for it.
All right. Okay. He's going to be playing his Wisp. He's going to be tethered to Loda probably most of this game, who's playing up on that Tiny and is also stuck on the hill. We're going to have Magicka. He's going to be playing Bane here. Pycat is playing his Mirana. And then last but not least, the Dong. He's going to be playing Beastmaster.
All right, this is going to be an interesting one to see some very different things coming out from both sides here today. But draft-wise, I know you're a little bit doubtful of the Lifestealer. Do you feel that the alliance is a lot stronger? Or
it can work. It's just you have to play around it. So when people play Lifestealer in a pub game, you can't really rely on your teammates to help you out. But in a competitive environment where everyone's communicating and on the same page, anything really can work. The only reason that I didn't think they were going to pick Lifestealer is because I thought they were almost assuredly going to run a core Gyro. But during the ultra late game, a Lifestealer can actually shred a Tiny. That's the one strength that he has, is because during that invulnerability, well, not invulnerability, but magic reduction of rage, like you can't be stunned except by roar or grip, you can just have that entire uptime of hitting the Tiny, and you won't be able to get Craggied either. So if he gets some really good damage items, they also decrease the cost of Desolator. Armlet's cheaper than it's ever been. There are definitely benefits to picking this hero, and they just recently buffed Open Wounds, so the lifesteal is now 50% at pretty much every level. So I don't know. I was skeptical, but I'm going to give VP the benefit of the doubt and say that they can make it work.
Okay, well, let's break it down. For the start being, it looks like FNG on the Gyro, thinking about hanging around towards the mid lane, obviously to help against the dual lane that Alliance are providing here, Loda and Arcade teaming up. And well, it's going to be interesting to see. So the Gyro obviously is a roaming hero, very early on, very strong, has the brown boot straight up, and with the Rocket Barrage can do a lot of damage to these weaker heroes.
Yeah, FNG is just kind of waiting for his opportunity here, and we saw how much harass he was taking, or Loda was taking in the middle lane just from the Queen hitting him a few times. So I think he's going to be looking to try to make something happen, but going on Mirana is really tough. Even going on Bane is hard because you can just skill Nightmare at level 1 and just make sure that you can't get the kill. He just walks away. But maybe he'll try to make something happen here, or at the very least make DK Phobos have a bit easier of a lane.
Yeah, when we see FNG indeed head down here to help out Phobos. I mean, in terms of the lanes, do you feel that FNG can get more done in the bottom lane, more done in the middle lane? Where is he best kind of positioning himself for this part of the game?
I think he most likely stays bottom for a while. Phobos.
Indeed, there's an arrow to Phobos. They're trying to go on to him. They will find the first blood there. FNG was trying to turn around the aggression there with a Rocket Barrage, but there's too many units to hit, and he doesn't really find anything of any significant damage against the side. And yeah, first blood there to Alliance for Pycat.
The old Nightmare Arrow, very powerful. And that's another reason why he needs to stay here, because if FNG leaves, Phobos will be eating a heck of a lot of arrows this game, and without any points right now into Kraken, he finally does have it, but the damage threshold at level 1 is 600, which means that he's going to be dead by the time his Kraken actually goes off. So he does need to be very, very careful about positioning in his bottom lane, so long as Magicka's around. But if they're just fighting over a rune, he'll be fine.
He's going to hold the arrow. This could be a very dead FNG. The amount of stun that he's going to be taking there, and the right clicks from both Pycat and Magicka. It means it's one of the oldest tricks in the book, the Nightmare Arrow, but it certainly seems to be working so far.
Now, we talked about the control factor that Alliance are going to have and why they picked the Wisp and the Beastmaster so early on, and then following it up with a Bane Mirana. Like, their control in the laning phase for bottom is fantastic. And middle lane, going to see a toss here.
Tossing G back and giving him a few punches. G actually trying to turn the aggression towards Ake, but will blink himself back up to the high ground and pop us out here to keep himself topped up.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to remember when you're playing against Bane Mirana is always communicate if either one of them or both of them are missing. Because a lot of the time, like, I'm sure from the perspective of FNG, if he only sees the Bane, he doesn't expect that he's going to get arrowed, but maybe Phobos wasn't quick enough telling him that the Mirana was going into the river, because as soon as he says that, it's just like, oh, well, if I get Nightmare now, I am dead, like 100% of the time, because even a level 1 Nightmare is 4 seconds, and that's plenty of time to line up an arrow.
Mid lane onto G again with the Avalanche with the toss. The G will continue to blink back. I mean, this Queen of Pain taking a lot of harassment here in the mid lane, but still in terms of CS coming out slightly on top against Tiny. 16-5 against the 11-3.
He needs to get to his bottle, though. Before that, he's pretty much run himself out of regen. So he had a salve, and he had one set of tangos, and now G is completely out. And I think that's also why FNG is standing here, so he realizes how close he is to getting that bottle.
Top lane, Bulldog. He's going to go down.
Well,
Storm Rage went in. Little did get himself fairly low, but looks like an old magic missile and a wave of terror. Set up a very, very tasty kill there for the Lifestealer in this lane.
Yeah, it's a really interesting interaction with the Lifestealer and the Beastmaster and the Tiny, because Lifestealer typically is seen as a hero who does great against any physical, or not physical, but melee strength hero, right? Because Feast does more against melee strength because they have more HP, etc. And plus now Feast can crit and it can cleave.
Ake hangs around by the top ring, but in comes G and FNG there with the rocket barrage. They'll be able to blow up Ake here on the IO. And indeed, enjoy your death indeed, as FNG calls out from the gyrocopter. 2 for 2 now on the board, and phase boost has been picked up, first of all, by Pycat, now this Mirana.
Pycat, I think, pretty much every game goes phase Aquila drums. Like, every single game. Even when Mirana was picked a ton, he always used to say that Midas was an item you should never buy.
He's in a lot of trouble here. Bane, Magicka's rotated in, and Pycat on a killing spree. This is a fantastic start for the Mirana here. 4.5 minutes in, 3 kills on the cat.
Well, I think maybe not used to playing against Bane Mirana. No one really runs it anymore. Heck, nobody plays Mirana. That's really the big surprise. And if people did, they hardly ever played it as a core. But as we said before, Pycat's one of those guys who loves to play the lane bullies, and Mirana is definitely one of those.
And in terms of CS as well, Illidan, he's been pretty much totally free farming. 29, 30 now for 15. He's getting the denies in as well. And Bulldog, in terms of levels, what does he manage to find here from this lane? He's actually in the river at the moment. Level 4 on the Bulldog, so he's still finding a little bit of XP, but if we in fact compare him to the Tide, how's Tide doing a comparison on the side of VP in terms of experience? And yeah, DK Phobos got a full level on top of the Beastmaster.
Yeah, I mean, getting the extra experience on the Tide is great, because you can just go back for some ancient stacks later.
Found himself Magicka here, going in with the Rocket Barrage. G blinks forward, but now with the Moonlight Shadow, Alliance trying to reposition themselves to get themselves back in on the action on FNG as he gets nightmared up, avalanched and tossed off, and that's going to be the gyro going down there. Bottom lane, Pycat trading hits here with Phobos. And looks like that's all it's going to be for the time being. Pycat gets himself out of the range of the Anchor Smash. And he'll be okay, but 4 for 2 now, and the Lions finding themselves some more kills across the map.
By the way, what is that Tide Hunter holding? What is that? Claddish Cudgel. Oh, it's just like an octopus thing. Alright. Sorry, I had my moment. I was just like, I was looking at it, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, I think it was one of the items from like an Asian event or something. I think it's quite a rare one. I think it was DAC. I'm pretty sure it was DAC, yeah. It was like one of the rarer things in the chest.
Middle lane here, G getting a bit low. But the laning phase, I would still say that Alliance definitely have the edge in the lane, but Illidan's going Midas, so he's going to go for pretty much all the farm, is what I'm saying. And I got to say, Illidan's one of those guys who can play the unconventional carries very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this game with the Blink.
He got very, very low there. G will have the Nightmare toggled off him very nicely by FNG to allow G to go in and finish off the kill. Arrow gets thrown through, but I think it was back.
Hello? What the heck was that?
The courier hangs around. They might lose G here as well. I mean, G's running away. Oh, that had Illidan's Midas recipe on.
Yeah, he was sending it top, but he didn't realize where the courier was, so he just walked it right into a Tiny.
Oh.
And the Tiny is level 6, so if he hits it once, it's dead.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, that's really big. That's a delayed Midas by, what, 3 minutes?
Mid lane, Toss and Avalanche here onto FNG. They're going to find a kill onto Gyro as well. Double kill here for the IO. And suddenly, this is not a position that VP Pylo are going to be happy with.
Yeah, not having your Midas right now is bad. He might even just finish Treads and then just buy another Glove of Haste by the time the courier is alive, so he has a little bit better of a laning phase, and he can maybe go jungle or something, so the Venge can soak from the lane, because Lil's level 5, actually. That's not too bad. Maybe he doesn't need to soak from lane just yet. But still, Alliance off to a very good start.
And Pycat, top of the net worth at the moment, keeping on par here with the Lifestealer. Coming towards the mid lane as Loader and Ake going in. G will be able to blink himself away, but again, The burst damage of this Tiny IO combination getting very, very scary for this Queen of Pain. Arrow will fly through, but it'll be just off the mark as G's able to juke that one out.
Yeah, the new toss is fantastic if you're playing against Queen, solely because before, you're playing against a hero with an escape mechanism, you had to get lucky, more or less. Like if you have a leap or a blink, you need to be able to stand right on top of him now, and it always tosses, whereas before, it just randomly targeted something within the AoE, and you had no idea if you were going to get lucky or not, and sometimes getting the toss on the hero can result in the kill that you need.
We're going to have a quick little for Pyke. Looks like we might have been experiencing some lag here for the players as well.
Nope.
TeamSpeak crash.
Just us.
The classic TeamSpeak. So. Yeah. But anyway, so far, yeah, I mean, it was looking fairly even at the start, but I don't know, after those kills there for Alliance and after the fact that Illidan's going to have to wait a good couple of minutes before he gets his Midas on him, that's... I mean, obviously he's not knocked VP Polar totally out.
He's going to miss, what,
it's a bit of a dent.
2 Midas cooldowns because of that courier being dead? I mean, that does hurt. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's going to be down to mid-game, and once the Lifestealer can start like infesting the Queen, you get your Tide Ravages off during these big engagements, but Alliance might not be looking to take direct 5-mans against VP. They might be looking to just run around with the Wisp and a Tiny and continue their farm, use the Beastmaster Hawk to scout, and try to pull VP apart. I think fighting 5 versus 5 would be a huge mistake with Alliance's draft against what VP have, unless they're so far ahead that they feel confident that even with these big AoE ultis that they can still try to take an engagement. But either way, Alliance looking really strong here in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you were saying, in terms of if the game does end up going late, is there anyone that you do kind of favor? I mean, is the Tiny IO pushing power always going to prevail, or is the Lifestealer, and the fact that the Gyro obviously can transition it into a core the later the game goes, is that something that's going to favor VP?
Well, I really do think that Alliance will probably have the advantage late game, because the way that they can play out the game is there's more options for them, right? So they can go for the Rat, they can go for the Tiny Wisp counterplay and push down a lane. They can just use the Beastmaster to give them ridiculous...
Bottom lane blinking forward here onto Magicka. There's going to be the dagger as well as FNG chases it down with the rocket barrage. And Bane just caught all alone there. And a kill going to the side of VP Polar.
Yeah, nice kill. Like just rotating around, getting something done, making sure that the Phobos maybe has a little bit easier of a laning phase. And he is still level 7. So he's got Max Anchor Smash, he's got Ravage. They're ready to fight pretty much whenever they need to at this point. And this is the time where Alliance are still going to be feeling pretty good, but once that Tide has Arcane Boots and a Blink Dagger, that's when VP I think are going to feel strong.
Flying through onto Illidan, and Bulldog there with the Roar. That's, I think the Roar set up the arrow by the looks of it. And that's another kill for Pyke. He's 4 kills, 1 assist. He's certainly being very active after having a very, very healthy starting lane at the beginning.
Now this is the kind of strength that a player like Pyke brings your team, is he's capable of playing these heroes at such a high level. Like every single arrow I think he's thrown, now granted he does have a bait, so sure, landing arrows isn't always super hard, but just the fact that he's able to consistently...
Save the Quap. Quap is going to go down. Almost. Certainly, they've already lost the Venge. Both heroes falling there from that rotation, and just a combination of Pyke's arrows and Ake hitting 6 and being able to get the relocate gank off.
Yeah, Lil actually swapped G there, and still G ends up going down because he only has level 1 blink. So.
Arrow coming through. There's going to be the Avalanche and toss onto FNG. Loader now on a killing spree. Pyke on the high ground, starting to right-click away at DK Phobos, and Loader should be able to chase this one down. He's got a toss if he needs it. He'll throw it up anyway. There's a mega kill streak for Pyke as he picks himself up another kill across the board, and it certainly seems like Alliance, they've stepped it up a gear, and VP, they're just having trouble keeping up at this point.
They're giving away way too many kills. Like, they need to try to get Alliance off their side of the map for a little while. Like, group up a bit, push Alliance out, and then try to...
Mid lane, Loader going in with the toss onto Lil. There's going to be a swap and stun, getting Loader onto the tower. Are they going to be able to keep Loader alive? Yep, Ake tethers him up, and we'll be able to bring him out. Bane coming in with a brain sap onto Venge. It's not enough to quite bring him down, and Magicka, well... Who's going a little bit on the edge there. Pyke's got an arrow. Let's see these arrows, my friend. There's your arrow, Lil. He's fine. He jukes it out. He's going to spot it out. But yeah, so far, this Mirana performance from Pyke being pretty impressive.
It's funny because he actually hasn't played the hero in like a competitive game in quite a while. And he plays it against VP, one of the TI invited teams, and he just owns with it. So I got to say, I'm very impressed with his performance so far. And Bulldog even making his way towards that book 1. So it's not even as...
Oh, Fiend's grip onto Illidan. There's a relocating as well. So much hate there, getting laid down onto the Lifestealer.
Yeah, that ward doing serious work.
Ooh. And the Hawk indeed. And now the top tower. Loader coming in with Bulldog with the push here. There's going to be a fortification coming out. They've also got Magicka as well on the Bane around. Io, Ake, TP's into the top lane also. And with this, they should be able to commit and take themselves a tier 1 here in the top lane. But 12 minutes in, things looking very good for Alliance. 5.6k on your Tiny, over 5,000 on your Mirana. Both heroes ahead of the position 1 Illidan Stormrange Lifestealer at this point of the game.
Alliance have built themselves a fantastic skirmish lineup. So you abuse the vision from the Hawk, you have good warding, you have Bane for control, you have Mirana for early skirmishing as well. He's even got Bottle on top of his drums and his phase. And he's, I think, going back for a Maelstrom, I would imagine. This is a pretty standard Pycat Mirana build. So he's ready to fight at any given point. And as are the rest of Alliance. All of their heroes offer a lot in team fights. And it's not just about having a big ulti, it's just...
12 minutes Aghanims on Loader.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great at all for VP. There's really not, I think, a lot they can do unless they just direct 5-man and hope that they can land a good Ravage.
I mean,
that's
exactly.
their only way.
You know, they could just go for the push, and I mean, is your Lifestealer in a fighting fit position at the moment?
Well, he needs a Vessel to infest to be able to get into the engagement at all, and I don't think he actually has the items to kill the Tiny right now, because Loda has 1,700 health. Now, sure, Feast is going to do pretty well against that, but you also have to take into account Overcharge and Courier. Oh, again, Jesus. Okay.
This VP Courier is not having a nice time. Loaded here with the Avalanche surrounds on Phobos. Right up as well from Magicka, but there's G blinking and he gets roared straight away, and Loaded just turns and kills him. Illidan, he tries to go on the Tiny, but Tiny will get relocated out by Ake. And now Pycat, he's just there to try and finish off Illidan, and he will do. There's going to be a cooldown coming down. Phobos trying to get himself in position for the Ravage, but Pycat and Bulldog, they're doing the Delta split. Bulldog does take a magic missile. They blow the Ravage. It will catch him, but Bulldog's still alive. They've already lost 3 on the side of VP, and now Ake, Loader, and Pycat, they're moving in for more. They're going to lose Lil here as well. 4 heroes down on the side of VP. It's a triple kill here for Pycat on the Mirana. They only lose the Magicka Bane and the Bulldog Beastmaster. And again, Alliance just coming out on top of these skirmishes.
They totally abandoned G there. Like, they went all in with 3 heroes to kill a Bane. And then G blinks in aggressively to high ground, probably expecting that Phobos is going to Ravage for him. But instead, he eats a roar to the face and just gets annihilated. And the Lifestealer, unfortunately, not really able to do much there. He had Boar Slow on him, walks around the team fight just going, well, if I don't have any stuns, I can't hit anyone. And that's really the biggest downfall of Lifestealer in general. Is that even though Illidan, being the fantastic player that he is, having the highest farm, in a situation where his team is pretty much getting ran over from minute 1, it doesn't matter if he has the highest CS if he can't hit anything. Like, that's the problem with Lifestealer, is he needs to be able to have a hero that can blink in for him, and he needs to have that hero also be able to disable, which is why you saw Bat and Storm so often picked with the hero in the past.
Here we go, VP moving into the jungle. There's both the Bane and the Mirana here. And Bane, well, he's going to get spotted out by the wave of Terror, but Lil, just with the one-pointed swap, not going to quite have the range to catch him out. G will blink forward, get the dagger onto Magicka, but it doesn't look like the side of VP are happy kind of fighting into darkness here. And they're just going to back themselves up towards the tier 2, knowing that they might have ruffled Alliance's feathers, and Alliance may very well now be coming for them, and they certainly are. They're smoked up. In goes Pycat, he gets tossed forward onto FNG. FNG will get swapped out. The cooldown is there. There's going to be the roar onto G, and Admiral Bulldog with the axes, bringing FNG low. The ball will finish him off. They do lose Admiral Bulldog. It's been Bulldog for the gyro so far. Illidan, he gets Fiend's gripped up. He'll go down as well. It's a dominating kill streak for Uriah, and Pycat, he's chasing down for more. There's going to be the toss to Magicka. He brain saps the Vengeful Spirit. It's just the Quap and the Titan to get out. Pycat will throw out an arrow. It won't connect, but again, 3-for-1 trade favoring Alliance. G, he blinks himself forward, but Ake and Pycat, they're not going to be able to go back in. But
that was really ballsy by G.
It was actually blinking forward straight like in.
I was not expecting him to go that ham. However, Alliance still continue the reign of dominance here in the early game. It's 15 minutes in, and God, it does not look like it's just 15 minutes in if you look at the VP side of the map. Like, they've given up 1 safe lane tower for Alliance, but the last towers standing are just going to be bottom lane. Like, the tier 2 mid and top lane have already been taken. They have complete control of VP's jungle, and the only way that VP can fight is 5-manning or smoking, and it looks like they're going to go with the latter here, as there is a smoke up. They have Ravage available. They're not going to have Queen ulti, though, and G is not in the area, so if they are going to take a fight, they need to make sure they're fighting around vision, and at the moment, the only thing they can see on the map is their enemy's jungle. Like, they have a deep ward, but that's it.
Indeed. Smoke from VP is going to be kind of the testing one to see if they can actually find some kind of positive enforcement here so far into this game. 16 minutes in, 19-7. From the start, things been looking very good for the side of Alliance, but VP, you know, with the Wombo combo, if they're able to get a good jump onto Alliance, they've still got a chance of taking a fight.
Yeah, that's the thing though. They need like a perfect engage. They need to make sure their Ravage hits like everyone, which is really tough considering Phobos doesn't have a blink yet.
Uriah, he's 20 gold off a mech 16 minutes in.
Yeah, he's rich. He's 4-1-7. Like, Ake has been on his game.
Yeah.
He's only died one time against a team that I would say is very good at killing a Wisp. Like, all you really have to do is get an open wounds or get like a dagger on him and he can flop over. I think the biggest issue that VP had was their laning phase was just, it was awful. Like, their Tide died a bunch of times, FNG died a bunch of times. The Bane Mirana for Alliance was the big playmaker duo. Like, they were walking around everywhere just getting kill after kill. Like, Pycat's 8-0-5. He's been involved in 13 kills in 16 minutes. So how do you really deal with that when Alliance are just playing so hyper-aggressive all the time?
Oh, they're going to go for Roshan here. Illidan, FNG, and Phobos smoke themselves in. Lil will follow as well with the medallion indeed from Gyro. It's not going to take them too long. Well, the question is, does Alliance smell this one out? They have got this blink dagger now on Tiny on top of the plane.
This should actually be pretty obvious now. Yeah, they know. They definitely know.
Oh, VP, they're going for the play here. Is it going to pay off? There's going to be a relocate in. There's FNG now with the cooldown. Arrow's going to catch Phobos, and Phobos goes down straight away before he can get the Ravage down. But FNG's getting low. He'll fall as well. There's going to be the Raw Illidan Storm Rage. Pycat, he's looking for the lifestealer. He'll find him. He'll find the Visual Spirit as well. GG is called 17 minutes into the game. Alliance take it by an absolute storm. VP Polar trying something different this match, but I don't know if they'll try it in game 2, Draskell.
The bottom lane just completely destroyed their lineup. I think the gyro support was a nice idea, and picking the lifestealer, I see how it could have worked, but in the end what happened was the Beastmaster still got enough farm and experience to be able to hit level 6 at a decent timing, and still at the end of that game, Bulldog ended with like 400 GP.